Okay, I'm hitting record. Hey guys, it is Sunday, March 14th. I cannot believe it is March 14th. And I can't believe Pesach is only 2 weeks away. And it's going to be another unique Pesach. But this week, we're going to talk about how we're going to make sure that we don't miss out on any of the joy of Pesach because we got there feeling flabby, feeling not good in our skin, feeling like, ugh. And I personally have been feeling, ugh, this month. I have been fighting the good fight, but I have been feeling major ughness. Anybody else? Raise a hand if there's been any like blah happening for you in your life. I got some blahs going. And we really do not want to steal from ourselves the joy of Pesach, because when we open our closet, we're like, ugh, I don't know what to wear. I don't have anything to do. I don't feel good. What am I going to eat? This is so hard. All of that negative stuff steals from us our joy of Passover. So this is the week when there's still 2 weeks before Passover. You can feel significantly better in your body. You can have momentum in the next 2 weeks. And the only way to put a stop to the blahs is to prepare for success. So in today's post, I asked you guys to come up with what your consistent breakfast will be for this week. Max, like 2 consistent breakfasts for this week, so that we can talk about lunches and dinners and how we want to go into the week, how we want to feel, what we're going to do to make that happen. Because you deserve to feel good, and I deserve to feel good. And we need to stop withholding that love and compassion from ourselves if we're not feeling good. And if you're already feeling good, let's make sure you keep feeling good. In the chat, guys, please share what your chosen consistent breakfast is going to be this week. Okay, I am going for eggs, veggies, and an apple. Or pumpkin, that'll be my other one. Pumpkin or apple. Okay, green smoothie with granola, yogurt and oatmeal, banana mug cake, awesome. Put your consistent breakfast brownie with yogurt or pro yogurt, cottage cheese and blueberries, oatmeal, applesauce, blueberries, or egg, black beans, or bread. Okay, Ria, that's a lot of options. Consistent breakfast. Try to make it a little bit more consistent so you can put this on autopilot, feeling better on autopilot this week. Oatmeal and eggs, yogurt, fruit or eggs, and Wassa crackers and spread. Slice of toast with eggs and cottage cheese. Okay, remember veggies are extra credit at breakfast, guys. And consistent breakfast doesn't just mean the items are consistent, your portions are consistent. So I'm seeing a lot of oatmeal. Make sure that means a consistent amount for you. It's not like, today I'm hungrier, today I'm doing a 4th cup, today I'm doing a 3rd cup, today I'm doing a full cup. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as you're tried, tracked, and see it. You just want to make sure that it's consistent. Yogurt and fruit or shako, yogurt, bagel, and egg salad. Amazing. Keep them coming. Okay, let's talk lunches and dinners for the week. Now, who here is doing a decent amount of takeout these days? Maybe work is really stressful, the blahs, you have a lot going on before the holiday, trying to get work in, you've moved recently, you have renovation happening. Who has been doing more takeout? Raise your hand in the video or let me know in the chat. Let me see, raise your hands in the video if you have been doing more takeout, or if you plan on doing more takeout this week. Not me, I'm not raising my hand. Not doing takeout, but trying to use up what's in the freezer and pantry. Okay. So you know what, Ayala, thank you so much for bringing that up, because let's think about that like takeout, because how I got into trouble this weekend was completely finishing off this amazing oatmeal bread that I made because I wanted to use up all the oatmeal in my house. So I made it into flour and I made this oatmeal bread, which I will never, ever make again because I thought it was the yummiest thing on God's green earth and no one else was interested in it. So I ended up eating it slice by slice by slice. Okay, so let's look at anything you take out from the freezer, guys, as if it's what's on the takeout menu. Anybody else? Anybody else have any doing a lot of like taking stuff out of the freezer? Yes? Yeah, let's see some hands. No, everyone here is stuck. Oh, there's Tammy. Okay, it looks like everyone's making a lot of new food this week. Great. If you have this game in your freezer and it doesn't work for your goals, chuck it right. Definitely. Okay, so I'm gonna put the takeout stuff to the side because that's not our big relevant thing. Let's talk menu planning for this week. Get out your papers and your pen and let's talk lunch.
Ethan, we got the spot
Okay.
for Shiro.
Hold on.
Someone's not on mute.
Muted. Somebody. We love you, whoever you are, but we're gonna mute you if we can find you. Okay, good. Looks like you found yourself. Mute yourself. Okay. Could someone else take a picture, by the way, of all the amazing women here on this call for our group? Okay. Let's talk lunches. I am going to be doing salad as the veggies most palette of my lunches this week. Who else here is going to do a salad? Because remember, when we plan our meals, we want to think veggies most, which means our entire base is going to be veggie. So what do you want your veggie base for lunch to be? And I'm sorry I said salad. It's actually going to be cooked veggies this week. Salads are going to be my veggie base for dinner this week. This week for lunches, I'm doing zoodles or spaghetti squash. I already bought them. They're in my fridge. I'm having zoodles or spaghetti squash as the veggie base of my lunches this week. What are you guys having as the veggie base of your lunch this week? And let's write it in the chat. Veggie base of your lunch, and then we'll go into protein. And this is where you can really change it up, but you really want to have a consistent 1 or 2 options. What is the veggie base for your lunch this week? I am doing zoodles or spaghetti squash. It really, really worked for me today. Grilled cabbage, that is such a good one. I love air fried or roasted cabbage. Anybody else doing a different, let's see them here so we can all inspire each other.
Guys, if you have good whole grain bread and you've never thought to make like, you know, tuna melt, I know Yoni's very often done like tuna melt in wraps, okay? Or if you have whole grain bread or light bread or, and
well,
you know,
we're going to
those
get to
kind of things.
FFCs. I want to just everyone to focus first on the veggies most.
Oh, first
aspect.
on the veggies? Okay.
We're going to first do the veggies most, and then we'll do the protein and the carb. Veggies most, guys. At lunch, you want to be in weight loss mode. You want to be feeling amazing, light, and energized for this holiday. Before you get there, what's your veggie base?
I'm responding to what Ayala said. That this week, a lot of my things, as opposed to the wrap, I'm doing in lettuce, or I'm doing in, so it might be changing what I'm putting in to those lettuce, cabbage, whatever leaves, but like that might end up being the theme where it might be tuna in a lettuce wrap. It might be burger wrapped in lettuce. It might, meaning that is where my start is, and then going through whatever meat is in my freezer. But it's like not getting rid of what's in my freezer, but in the sense of using that as the basis of how I'm doing my veggies. My same veggies every day is always going to be fresh vegetables and a tray of grilled vegetables, because I do that at both meals anyway. But I guess what's making it interesting for me, even though it's a constant, is trying to figure out how can I use those lettuce or whatever leaves as wraps instead of, because I don't want to buy any more, actual wraps if I'm basically out of them.
Right. Great. Okay. So we have so many: cauliflower, rice, beets, fresh salad, combination of purple romaine, tomatoes, cucumbers. Amazing. Now let's talk proteins at lunch. Okay. Let's throw some out there so you guys can make a choice. Okay. Hard-boiled eggs, classic, eggs of some kind. Cottage cheese, pro yogurt, Bulgari cheese are the top 3 high protein options that are dairy. Then you have tofu and edamame, which are the top kind of soy options. Shakeology or the organ protein powder, those are all options. Then you have tuna, salmon, chicken, turkey, meat. That's your protein base. So now think about what you picked for your veggies. What's going to go with it? I am doing tofu this week for lunch or tuna fish. I'm doing tofu or tuna for my lunches this week. So I'm going to write that down. Tofu or tuna.
Guys, also, Lily, I just want to piggyback on that for a second when you're going through the list of things. If you have not realized by this point, or maybe if it's been a while since you looked, okay, at the my go-to guide, okay, in the resources, or if you have the original To Be Mindset tracker, not like if you have the original tracker, not when you just take the file and print it off. Okay, this and in the My Go-To guide, you have the food list. Okay, food list. It's a great way to start looking through and thinking, oh, what of these things do I have, or what do I want to use, or how to simplify? What can work for me? What do I want to maybe add to my list? It's just right there in front of you in a very, like in the proteins, like now Lily's talking about the proteins, and it's divided between eggs and dairy, chicken and turkey, beef and pork, whatever, Shakeology, and then plant-based proteins also. So use it as the guide that it is to give you ideas.
Exactly. So for me, I'm thinking if I'm doing kind of cooked veggies for lunch, I know I'm going to want tofu. And here in Israel, tofu is already kosher for Pesach kitniyot. So even as I'm moving towards that, I don't mind buying it and having it in the house. I can get rid of it and I can eat it all the way up to Erev Pesach, and then not have it over Pesach for people who don't eat kitniyot. So tofu is big for me, getting close to Pesach. And tuna. I'm going to make tuna patties, and I'm going to have tofu, and those are going to be my lunch proteins this week. So I have easy cooked things. Okay, has everybody picked your proteins for lunches this week? If you are struggling with choosing a protein, don't skip ahead. Unmute yourself right now, and we will help you.
Or if you're saying that, like, you know what, I'll figure it out later. This is a great time to just think about it beforehand, as opposed to you can still decide some things on the fly if you have lots of vegetables and you want to mix and match certain things, or if you have 1, 2, or 3 proteins, but really use this opportunity, guys, to put yourself on autopilot this week.
For me, usually a tofu portion is about 150 grams of tofu. About a half of Israeli block. A block is 300 here. So a half a block is usually for me a good portion. Today, I wasn't as hungry. And even as I was eating, I kind of stopped 2/3 of the way through. I put it on the side and I got back to it later. And there are times where I'm like extra hungry. Maybe I skipped a meal, or no, I didn't skip a meal, but like my lunch is an hour and a half later than it should be. And I can easily eat through an entire block of tofu if I'm not being mindful. But generally, I know a portion for me is about half a block. What would you say, Ayala, for you as well?
Yeah, also. Okay, guys, look, Rena just asked in terms of preparing the tofu. Let's try to keep this a little bit more general. We can get into specifics a little bit after, but you know, for sure. I will say this in terms of preparing. Anything that I make that I have not made before, I literally Google. I don't just pick an ingredient and find recipe for. I write easy recipe for. I literally write it in my search. Easy recipe, quick recipe for, and I write down ingredients that I have. Okay, so use Google. Google is your friend, guys.
And
really,
guys,
it doesn't have to be complicated.
Beets, olive oil spray, coarse salt, garlic powder, and paprika, or grill spice.
But guys,
literally everything.
We're really simplifying this a lot in terms of picking things and deciding where, how to decide, pre-plan your week. But where do you struggle with this? How can this conversation, how can this topic help you? Where do you feel like you're resisting or, like I said, struggling with it? Where do you need help in this department?
I think that use the chat rather than, I don't think you guys really care what we're going to be eating this week. That doesn't help you, but where can we help you? Put in the chat where you're having some sort of missing piece to what's going to be your kind of great combination of meals that day. Let us know where we can fill those things in.
We're
snack
about
time.
to get
Okay,
to
see,
snack
great
time,
example.
Ricky. Great. Exactly. Not going to bad treats. So not going to bad treats and having good snacks comes from having good meals first. Having filling, satisfying meals makes the whole snack question a lot less fraught because you're already full and satisfied. And then it's just about getting to your next meal. But when you know what you're going to be eating and it's pre-planned, you are guaranteed to feel good the next day. And that is what this call is about. This call isn't about the perfect tofu recipe or giving out the best recipes. So I will tell you, literally, I just did olive oil spray, coarse salt, and grill spice in my air fryer on 180 centigrade for 15 minutes. Came out perfect. You can do the same thing in the oven, but easy things so that you can feel better this week, so that you can get checked off all the other stuff that is going on in your life, and your food can just be making you feel nourished and good and losing weight, so that when you get to Pesach, you are feeling good about yourself. You are feeling good in your body as you enter the holiday. That's what this is about. Okay. Snacks that you won't feel bad about past 11 p.m. when you should go to bed and you're probably up late doing Pesach stuff. Yes, Sarah, this is exactly why. If you are up at 11 and you haven't eaten well that day because you were skipping meals and thinking about everything else you had to do, you are so much more at risk for impulsive eating than if you've had good meals throughout the day and you feel like I am so on track for a weight loss day. You're so happy to drink that water, drink that tea, and get to bed. But when you feel like you're not sure whether today was a weight loss day and you're right, come on, right? And you're oh, I already feel like I overate and I was overstressed and I didn't know what I was gonna eat for dinner and it was late, then it's so much easier to talk ourselves into just going for some leftover perms, something in the house or something we find we're cleaning out our pantry. Edamame is a great go-to snack. Okay, I want to talk about
weird suggestion for late night prep. Not a bad time to experiment on a new veggie dish for Pesach, so that if there is something you do end up grabbing, it's a new veggie dish. Let that be the temptation, that if you're going to grab something, I'm trying out new veggie things that I might be doing this, for Pesach. If I have 10 other things going, the oven and the grill or whatever it might be, the thing that I might end up grabbing is the new vegetable dish that you won't feel bad about that one in the morning. So if you're going to try something late, that might be the one thing you want to think about having nearby to grab. It might be a late night trial of a new vegetable dish. And people are putting good with
it. Again, Rhea just wrote, celery PB2 is a great late night snack if you were going to eat something at that point. Lily's hot cocoa.
I think you got it, Lily. Yeah. Let's also just throw back to the whole idea of a snack. also like, Ricky brought this up, and who else, and Sarah brought it up. With this month topic of the month being also mindset, like Lily said, first and foremost, when your meals are filling and satisfying, you will see how that affects snack time, or not. And then you are able to concentrate a lot more of, is it habit or hunger? Or are you also trying to distract yourself from something else? Like Alana talks about procrastinating a lot. You're supposed to be doing something, you don't necessarily want to be doing that, so you distract yourself. It's very easy, just like eating food is a good vice, like it's an acceptable vice sometimes it's very understanding. People are like, oh, of course you're eating. Yeah, you're so stressed or this time period. We don't want to fall into that. Yes, it might be an acceptable nowadays vice to fall into. We don't want it to be an acceptable distraction. We'd rather be concentrating on the mindset. Are we hungry? Is this habit? And are we trying to avoid something else, or sitting with an emotion or a task at hand or something else? It's so easy to just say, oh, yes, we're hungry. When we're rushed, when we're nervous, when we're overwhelmed, think about what all these things feel like physically in your body. They very much resemble what hunger feels like sometimes in your body. So you're going to have to really distinguish when you're going for a snack. Is it because your meal wasn't filling and satisfying? Or you can even admit sometimes, I just want to be grabbing something. Like I'm nervous, I'm this or whatever, or I'm tired. Tired's a great one, guys, because for some reason, we distract ourselves from being tired by going to eat instead of flipping going to bed. It's like, I'm so tired. I'm like, we're too tired to go to bed.
Right. Or like it's the denial that if I just eat something, I'm magically going to have all this renewed energy that's going to get me to do this thing that I'm really not going to do anyway, because I'm just going to feel so bad about what I just ate. I'm just going to be like, screw, I'm going to bed. Like it's just such a negative loop. And there really was for a long time this idea that if you eat sugar, it gives you energy to do something that you don't want to do. And it's really not true. The only thing that gets you that second wind is the decision to do it. The second you actually decide to do it, that is proven to give you energy to do it, versus having a treat in a control group has zero effect on actually motivating you to do anything. It's just such an old training that we absorbed from media. It's like just not a true thing. I want to talk about FFC at lunch. Coaches, guys who've been around, there is this desire for some reason to skip your FFC at lunch. Okay? Because you don't really need it, because it's early enough in the day, you feel perfectly energized. You don't.
Or be honest, or because you think you're going to lose, more weight if you cut it out.
Lose weight faster, and I'll feel even better for Pesach if I skip the carb at lunch. So let's go back to what vegetable on your piece of paper you've chosen to be the delicious, yummy base of your lunch. And think about the proteins you've selected to be the delicious, yummy base of your lunch. So I chose tofu and tuna patties, and I made brown rice. And I'm going to have a 1/3 cup serving of brown rice, heated up with my cooked veggies, and that is going to be my FFC at lunch. It's going to keep me full and satisfied with slow release carbs to give me good energy. If you are skipping your carb at lunch, whether it's a fruit, right? Let's go over the common carbs again, guys, and then put in the chat what you're choosing. A slice of bread, wasa cracker, 1 small potato, an acorn squash to a 1/2 an acorn squash, a piece of fruit or a cup of loose fruit, a 1/4 of a large sweet potato, a 1/2 a cup to a 1/4 of a cup of loose grain, quinoa, brown rice, bulgur. And why am I giving options? Because it depends on your weight bracket a little bit and your energy and your sugar resistance. What's the serving for you between a 1/4 of a cup and a 1/2 a cup of these grains?
Mini pitas.
Mini pitas, beans and lentils from the can, which are kosher for Pesach already. Okay, kidney kosher for Pesach, perfect to have in your house this week because you can put them aside and have them also after Pesach. You don't have to sell them. 100 calorie spell roll. Good. Holy pizza. Again, I'm like lowering the amount of this stuff that I'm eating, but if you have a lot of stuff you want to get rid of, fine. Lentils. Avocado is not a carb. Okay. Any other carbs anybody's eating this week? Anybody going for fruit? Strawberries are in season here in Israel. Blueberries, yes. Okay.
Beth, I'm so jealous that you can write blueberries.
You haven't been buying them? I've been seeing them.
I'm jealous that you guys can get kidney oats, so
Right.
we're even.
No, I have been buying blueberries, but like it's a box like this big.
I know. This week it's okay. Not strawberries, not raspberries, but blueberries.
Okay.
Blueberries. Tangerines, awesome. So like generally, Shira, like 2 tangerines is a serving, average serving, unless they're humongous, but it's about 2, so that's nice to know. If you have a huge grapefruit, it's a half a grapefruit, right? Now, again, try, track, and see. None of these are written in stone, but these are general guidelines.
Look, I can tell you also for me, guys, this is always a big thing. We've discussed this in the past. Like, it doesn't have to be a starch or a fruit. For me, I have found, like, let's say for breakfast, and you can, bring that over to lunch, the combination of oatmeal and fruit. It doesn't have to be one or the other, but it takes trying and tracking and seeing how to play with the proportions of each one. And then you can also have both if you feel that to be more satisfying.
Right. So I'm doing a 1/3 cup of brown rice because I'm going to have a half a banana in my Shakeology at snack time. We're at snack time. Snacktional. So if you've had this amazing breakfast and this amazing filling lunch with an FFC, and you are good with a coffee or an iced coffee or water or tea or a bevy, if you haven't tried bevy, it's amazing, or an iced tea, phenomenal. Write down what your drinks of choice for your snack are going to be, because if you actually make a plan and it's not just water, but you plan on having a delicious tea or tea latte or something like that for a snack, that's awesome. For me, I am going to be having Shakeology as my snack this week with a half a banana. So I have a ton of bananas in my freezer that we're going to use. And I find that that's really good for me when I'm trying to make sure that I snack. My snack is, again, what does Alana always say, guys? Don't be snacking. Single snack. So that can be a single plate of a veggies most and a cheese stick, and a fruit or a half a fruit or something like that. Are you snacking? Where are you guys in terms of snacking? Are you a snack? Are you snacktional? Yes. Or are you not snacktional? Let me know in the—
Make it a noun, not a verb.
Right. So what are some of your favorite snacks that work for you? For me, like a half a banana and 2 tablespoons of PB2. The chocolate PB2 are awesome. Or a Shakeology is great. Or a Beach Bar is great. As long as I keep my snack to under 200 total calories, for me, I find that it totally works for me. Anybody have good snack things that really work for them? For me, between 100 and 200 calories is the max for me for a snack. Anybody have snacks that they like? The edamame packets. I know some of you guys like the Orgain bars. Anybody else? Let's see in the chat. Anybody snacking, or really nobody's snacking? Everybody is choosing to be not snacktional, snacking off.
No, guys, come on, a little bit of honesty.
Boiled egg, right? Because like all your trackers have nothing in the snack line except water. There's
My
not even like
snacking
a
is boring. You've seen my tray of snacking. It's so boring.
But put it in. Shakeology is a great snack.
No,
Are you
Crystal
snacking
said
on
that's not
veggies?
strange. Hard-boiled eggs with cucumbers, like that's a great snack.
Oh,
You're
I
getting
love
yourself
that.
your
vegetables
and protein.
Yogurt
Also,
with
you're trying to think
cinnamon. Wonder Whips. Good. Here we go. Ayala, what's your go-to snack? Are you not snacking these days?
I snack less these days. It's just one of the things that when I became vegan, really
Yes.
my meals filled me up more. So for me, it's usually just about vegetables. And I'm also thinking ahead because I like to have an earlier dinner. So yes. I lost the fear. It took a long time, but I lost the fear of having an early dinner. And then, well, what happens if I'm up later? First of all, it's very good incentive to not be up too late. And second, I like the feeling of having dinner, giving myself a few hours for my body to digest it, and it no longer then has this fear. So when you're really thinking about when you're eating these meals, guys, it helps you put it all into some kind of plan and order that you realize, oh, maybe I really don't need a snack right now because I'm going to be having dinner. That being said, I will admit there are cherry tomatoes on my counter at all times, and I very often just grab as I'm passing by, or like after I've gone to the bathroom,
and that is a
cherry
snack.
tomatoes.
Veggies are a snack. Yeah. Put them in, because if you don't have them actually out on your counter, then you're going to be grabbing something else. So like, again, really make sure if you're going to have veggies as your snack, that they're there. With my Shakeology, I'm always having a vegetable. I used to put my Shakeology as part of my lunch or as part of my dinner. And I realized that I do better. I lose more weight when actually I eat it earlier. I start breakfast earlier. I was for a very long time not getting to breakfast till 10 or 11. And I noticed that then I didn't have time for a snack, and then it just didn't work for me. I do better even if it takes more effort for me to really make sure I get breakfast in closer to 8 a.m., even though it is a big effort for me. If I not pay attention, I can easily go till 10. Starting breakfast at 8 starts my metabolism personally much faster and better and more efficient for the day. And I get hungrier more throughout the day. And then I definitely have room for the snack, versus if I don't eat till 10 or 11, I definitely don't have room for a snack in my day. But also it's not as effective. Who knew? Okay. Anything else? And nobody else is, okay, any drinks that you're loving, water that you're loving that's like a snack water, that's not just pure water. Is there a special brand of tea or a latte? We have 1 minute left, guys. We didn't even get to dinner. This is how much you want to make sure that you are putting effort into menu plans. So for dinner, guess what? Dinner is the easiest meal to plan of the day because it is veggie base and a protein. Your homework assignment is this week, tomorrow morning, I'm going to put in the thread, the accountability post, some dinner ideas for this week to continue on the theme for this call. Please share what you are making for dinner tomorrow. Take a minute tonight, now as we're finishing the call, and think about what your veggie base is going to be, what your proteins are going to be, if anything needs to be prepped or purchased or defrosted for yourself this week. And I hope you found this helpful. I hope you're leaving this call actually with some action items of things you're actually going to walk away and do this week to feel amazing and ready and excited, nourished, and energized for this holiday.